Sunday, March 31st of 2019, Amias Asghedom, professionally known as Nipsey Hussle, was gunned down outside a Marathon clothing store he owned in South LA. The shooting, which also injured two other bystanders, was not only done in broad daylight, but it was also caught on camera. It was a very vicious and callous scene. Not only was Nipsey shot over 10 times, but he was also kicked while bleeding out on the ground. 2 days later, an individual named Eric Odor Jr. turned himself in at a mental health clinic. He was a member of the Rolling 60s, the same set as Nipsey. He was actually well known to Nip, but they had a disagreement that ultimately led to Eric shooting up Nip. Apparently, they both had a chance encounter at the parking lot of the Marathon store. Eric was getting some chili fries with a female associate, and she referenced how good-looking Nipsey was. She got out and took a picture with Nipsey, which she posted on Facebook, while Eric went to go get his food. Eric, upon coming out into the parking lot, had a simple conversation with Nipsey, where Nip told Eric there was a snitching room out there about him, and he should go get some paperwork to clear his name. Eric, feeling embarrassed or perhaps violated by the fact that Nip called him a snitch to his face, made a dash to his vehicle that was parked in the alley close by to retrieve his firearm. Eric made it to his car, took a few bites of his chili fries, then went back towards the store to confront Nip, where he then unloads a barrage of shots, striking him at least 10 times and also kicking him on the ground. While going through trial, Eric was attacked a few times in jail, leaving his face lumped and swollen that they had to reschedule some of his hearings. 3 years later, on July 6, 2022, he was eventually found guilty of first-degree murder, possession of a firearm as a felon, and 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon relating to the bystander's injuries. Eric was sentenced to a 60-year term, perhaps as a statement or jab towards the Rolling 60s set. And that was the end of his chapter, at least for now. For those who aren't familiar with Nipsey Hussle, let me give y'all a quick rundown. He was an entrepreneur, hustler, community activist, and underground rapper who was steadily building a buzz up in the music industry.
What's your name, man? You new and upcoming, but you're at this summit. What's your name? Where you from?
My name Nipsey Hussle. I'm from LA, Slauson and Crenshaw area, you know.
Okay, well, Nipsey Hussle, that's named after Nipsey Hussle, the comedian.
Correct, yes.
So talk a little bit about yourself, man. What brings you up here, up and coming, and, how come you're not blinging and having all kind of crazy diamonds and all that? I guess you're here to get your money right, huh?
All the time. I mean, all that is cool for the image and all that, but all them is liabilities, you feel me? I'd rather invest in some real estate, you know what I'm saying?
Wait, can you repeat that again, man? You're up and coming artist. What did you say you want to do?
I say invest in some assets as opposed to trick off my money on some liabilities like diamonds, you know what I'm saying? Cars that lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot.
So you're trying to get land. Exactly,
homie. A real asset. Take care of my peoples, cause it look good, but at the end of the day, you losing value, homie. It ain't appreciating. It's depreciating. It's losing value.
Nip started his music career in the mid-2000s, releasing his first mixtape, Slauson Boy Volume 1, in 2005, all self-funded. He got a little bit of recognition from it locally, and he eventually got the attention of Epic Records. Nip went on to release a few other mixtapes over the years, including the Bullets Ain't Got No Name series, which pushed him into a new light in 2008 through 2009.
Shouting to y'all, this your boy, Neighborhood Nip Hussle. That was just my new single, Hustle in the House. Y'all got the sneak preview. Street classic, it been certified already. LA to New York. Homies just walked in. Y'all know. Neighborhood's on deck. Feel me? We crippin' at the corporate offices. You feel me?
That's Big U, Nip's manager at the time. They started working together around 2006.
In my mind, I feel like he the one. And then he was dedicated. Like he knew what he was gonna do. He knew he would reach where he reached, Grammy status. He knew that. And I could see it, and I was driven. So I'm like, I got the tools. And then we was falling and we started moving.
We'll get to him later on. In 2009, Drake, who was just starting to pop, appeared with him on a track called Killer. And he also did a track with Snoop. In 2010, Epic Records was going through their roster shuffling. So Nip decided that he wasn't going to renew his contract, and he started his own label, All Money In Records. Under his label, he drops The Marathon. The Marathon continues. In Crenshaw, all classic tapes. For the Crenshaw mixtape release, Nip did something a little different, offering it for free for download, but also providing the option to purchase a hard copy for $100 a pop online or at his pop-up shop in LA as part of his Proud to Play initiative. Jay-Z bought 100 copies of his mixtapes and showed support of the up-and-coming MC.
This culture and this mentality that took over the whole world. You feel me? So I'm not necessarily perpetuating this shit. I'm more or less just giving the game. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to convert nobody. If that's what you gonna ask me.
Yeah, are you trying to bring them in, or are you trying to let them know if they do come
out, man? You feel me? More than anything, I'm trying to really, you can say my whole objective is to just redirect the mentality.
As a self-proclaimed member of the Rolling 60 Crips, Nip had made a name for himself as a community ambassador and entrepreneur in his neighborhood. While seeking to stem gang violence in the area, he preached black empowerment through business ownerships, reinvesting his money in the place he grew up. Nipsey opened up the Marathon clothing store in June of 2017 with his brother Black Sam in the heart of Crenshaw's commercial district, basically investing in his hood. Not to forget, Nipsey also acted in a few movies over the years, playing a small role in the Bone Thugs and Harmony biography film in 2007, and he also appeared in Cage Animal with Vin Rhames and Gilly in 2010. Towards the end of his life, Nipsey had partnered with Jay-Z's Roc Nation as he was making his leap from the underground rapper into a mainstream talent. Victory Lap was his debut and only studio album that was released in February of 2018. When it first came out, debuted at number 4 on the Billboard with 53,000 units equivalent sold with streaming. It was widely regarded as a well put together West Coast album with features from Kendrick, YG, CeeLo Green, and even Puffy appeared on the track Young Nigga. After Nipsey's passing, the album received a huge spike in interest across the world, with people all over seeking his music. On February 16 of 2023, the album was certified double platinum, selling over 2 million copies in the US alone. So long live Nip, y'all. So back to Big U, real name Eugene Henley. We all know by now from all the news plastered everywhere of the RICO indictments that came his way, along with several others. He's an OG from the neighborhood who was given an opportunity to get into the music industry through Suge Knight. Standing 6'5", you can see where the name Big U comes from. A street legend, community activist, philanthropist, entertainment industry exec who owned a record label called Unique Music. He's a product of South LA who lived through the 80s Wild Wild West era. He got caught up in a drug sting back in 1991, trying to rob on undercover for 15 keys. Even back then, he was regarded as a reputed kingpin by the law and the newspapers. He was sentenced to 23 years in 92, but only served 12 as he was released in 2004. Soon after, he started managing Nipsey after getting into the music business. At some point, Nip and Big U had a falling out as Luce Cannon, another 60 affiliate who was also indicted, detailed in interviews that are publicly available out there. Luce did a lot of talking in interviews and self-incriminating videos over the years. On No Jumper is basically where a lot of these guys go tell all their street business and politics in exchange for fame and notoriety. You would almost think the shit they be talking about is not even illegal by the way they openly speak about it on the World Wide Web, especially on No Jumper. Supposedly, Nip had made a diss song about Big U, and Big U was trying to get Nip to take a ride for a fade, but Nip's brother Black Sam stopped it by allegedly letting off in the air. This is out of Luce Cannon's mouth.
So he was like, we're gonna have to go downstairs and get down, right? So they in the middle of the street, and Nip kept just bouncing around. You get what I'm saying? Not trying to get hit or whatever, trying to fire on him. So he was like, all right, cuz I'm gonna have like my little homies come because I don't have to win for this, right? So the next day, TD and them came and he was just doing some bullshit or whatever like that. So they try to come. Big U tell Nip, get in the car. You gonna go on Bryanhurst and you gonna get down, right? Black Sim like, you ain't taking my brother nowhere. You get what I'm saying? And he tried to pull him out the car. When he tried to pull him out the car or whatever like that, Nip looked over and he was like, listen, long as you don't, we good. So he was like, nah. So Fats, right? My homie Fats.
You talking about another situation?
I'm talking about the same situation.
The situation that's happened is when Black Sam bust in the air.
No, he did bust in the air, but Big U tried to fire on Fats.
Fats put him on his pockets.
And then Fats put him on his pockets.
I got a call on that one.
He put him on his pockets, right? So, Fats is like 5'4", but he was stocky. You get what I'm saying? So he put him on his pockets. They try to rush Nip. You get what I'm saying? Like Paws and all of them, right? And so Black Sam busts in the air.
Some have even went as far as to claim Big U had a hand in Nipsey's death, even after Eric Older had been tried and sentenced for it. That is not what the feds are alleging, though, in this indictment. They have made several wild claims, which I'll explain in a bit. One of them being defrauding the government using fake businesses and charities to apply for funds. The other wild stuff that's been circulating in the media involving other celebrities is what I'll explain below. Remember, these are all allegations at the moment. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Look at all the agencies on this case. You see Luce Cannon right there, along with Bricc Baby. Bricc Baby got another sealed indictment pending. So the FBI started their investigations into the Big U enterprise and its associations with the Rolling 60 Crips in the early 2021. They initially started looking into the Rolling 60s in August of 2020. They are claiming Big U Enterprises, a mafia-like organization that used Big U's image in a gang and his stature to intimidate and extort rappers, athletes, and businesses in LA since 2010. On page number 17, section C of the indictment documents, it says, as part of the Big U Enterprise purported control of Los Angeles, individuals, including professional athletes, musicians, and others, intending to conduct certain types of businesses in Los Angeles, including both legitimate businesses and illicit criminal conduct, were required to check in with Henley prior to traveling to Los Angeles or engaging in certain activities to obtain protection from Big U's enterprise while in Los Angeles. They also reference his podcast named Checkin' in his own produced documentary, Hip Hop Uncovered, where he says, if I don't pick up the phone, that could mean death for somebody. Remember Pop Smoke, PNB Rock, most recently lost their lives in Cali because they didn't quote unquote check in when they were there during a robbery gone bad. On page number 29, bullet point number 37 and 38 of the charging documents, a cooperating witness in the case detailed the incident from a dice game involving boxer Adrian Bruner in 2019. CW1 then recounted a large buy-in dice game occurred in Los Angeles in June of 2019. The game involved the professional boxer AB, AB's associates, and several prominent NBA players. According to CW1, AB and his associates fixed the game and cheated the NBA players out of millions of dollars using teased dice. Following that game, Henley directed a group of Big U Enterprise associates to rough up AB, who did not check in with Henley, and to get the money back from him on behalf of the cheated NBA players. Multiple members of the Rolling 60s ultimately arrived, and Henley used them to press AB. CW1 said that Henley was involved with the incident because Henley was involved in and or would approve of any dice game or similar events, such as parties involving large sums of money from prominent NBA players and celebrities in Los Angeles. See, multiple persons involved in the incidents who have since been interviewed, including former NBA players, confirmed that Henley was paid $100,000 for negotiating this death. However, each was later approached by associates of AB and told they still owed the money.
Watching the door. Baby girl, it's a man's business. Please, stay out of it. Please. Because when somebody dies, you won't be a witness. Just chill.
Another one of Big U's alleged victim, who was cooperating, also went into detail about Adrian Bruner's situation. At the outset of the investigation, Victim 1 was identified as an extortion victim. Victim 1 is described further below. From April 14th of 2022 until April 15th of 2022, Victim 1 conducted a consensual monitored meeting with Henley and other unidentified individuals. During the meeting, Henley told Victim 1 and others that he got into it with AB after AB cheated a current NBA All-Star out of $1.5 million and a former NBA All-Star out of $5 million. Henley also said that he charged the players $100,000 so that they can get their money back from AB. A confidential informant involved with the cheating scheme corroborated this information, in that AB was confronted for failing to check in with Henley regarding the game. Big U is also accused of murdering an artist that was recording for his Unique music label. The rapper referenced in the indictment as RW was a friend of his son, who Big U, according to the indictment papers, took to Vegas to record at a studio, but was later found shot to death in the desert. On page 34, bullet point number 48, is where they break down Big U's connection to the Sling Young rapper. On January 20th of 2021, 5 days before the murder, and 3 days before Henley and Robinson drove from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, RW had recorded a diss song that North Las Vegas Police Department later obtained. In it, RW rapped about the person who had the money, that RW would be shot in the face for thinking shit funny, and referenced a .38 caliber revolver with no trace. RW ended up getting shot with a .38 caliber revolver. In addition to the murder, Big U and others, including Luce Cannon and Bricc Baby, are accused of lining people up to be robbed in the city. Big U allegedly being a shot caller, and Luce Cannon actually doing the robbery himself, and he admitted to it on No Jumper podcast. One instance of the robbery is described on page number 50 through number 52. Luce Cannon is Williams on the dock. One such robbery occurred on July 5th of 2021 at an unlicensed marijuana dispensary in Los Angeles where Victim 1 worked. Leading up to the robbery, the Big U Enterprise had been extorting Victim 1 for years, and Victim 1 had been paying the Big U Enterprise up to $25,000 per month when Victim 1 was at the top of his earning capacity. Shortly before the robbery, however, Victim 1 had ceased paying extortion to Big U Enterprise, as Victim 1 did not believe it was necessary or that he was receiving any benefits from the payments. On the day of the robbery, approximately 11 of Big U Enterprise's members and associates, including Robinson and Williams, both of whom Victim 1 knew well as Rolling 60s members, rushed into the dispensary armed with firearms and without masks. They demanded belongings of anyone inside and stole cash and marijuana from the store before fleeing. At one point, they demanded a Rolex watch from one of the co-owners, but at Robinson's directions, they ended up letting him keep it. According to victim 1, while still at the dispensary, the robbers put victim 1 on the phone with Henley, who invited victim 1 to Henley's home. According to victim 1, when victim 1 arrived at Henley's Arlington premises, Robinson, Williams, and other robbers were there, as were the proceeds of the robbery inside. Henley told victim 1, "That's how you rob yourself." Henley then demanded $10,000 from victim 1 to ensure other robberies did not occur. Henley also directed victim 1 to identify other businesses or dispensaries that could be similarly robbed, and assured victim 1 that Big U Enterprise would compensate him for identifying any robberies. Henley then provided a portion of the robbery proceeds back to victim 1. Williams later admitted to this robbery and the aftermath on a podcast. On the No Jumper podcast, after stating that Williams was Henley's right-hand man, Williams explained, "So basically, he'll manipulate things. We'll go and do something, and then the same we do it to, show up to the house like 10 minutes later as we trying to count everything. And we be like, how the f-? Williams then said that Henley would state, "Well, we just gonna give like 40,000 back." Whack 100, who is a rival counterpart of Henley's for the Bloods, was also on the podcast and stated, "You know why he wanted to give the dude back 40, right? Because he was going to make the dude give him 20 for getting it back." Williams then agreed. Of course, he did that to 2 famous rappers. This is the part Luce Cannon was talking about holding McMill for ransom.
So basically, it's like, cause he'll be like, he'll manipulate things. Like, we'll go and do something, and as we do it to, show up to the house like 10 minutes later when we trying to, counting everything, right? And we be like, how the they get that? Oh, well, we're gonna just give him like $40,000 back and stuff like that.
You know why he wanted to get a dude back to 40, right? Because he was gonna make dude give him 20 for getting it back.
Of course.
And kept you out of it.
Of course. He did that to when I did that to Meek Mills and Rick Ross.
What'd you do to them?
So
the club, when you sweated them in the club?
Yeah.
Dude, and Meek and Rick have no idea that Draw sent you at him.
Yeah. No, yeah, they sent that because I called Ross. I'm like, Ross,
boy, this shit getting crazy.
Drop off the 50,000, and we're gonna let Meek live on Crib. So Ross dropped off the 50,000, and so me and the homies we go back. He stopped answering the phone. He stopped picking up and shit.
Henley stopped answering the phone and did not share any of the proceeds with Williams. According to further No Jumper and Vlad TV segment, Henley then served a cease and desist order on No Jumper, and the podcast episode was removed from the platform, although recordings of the episode remain available elsewhere online. Luce Cannon, who eventually had a falling out with Big U because he wasn't sharing proceeds of robbery, allegedly, said a lot on No Jumper with Whack 100.
This is actually putting us in paperwork, right? And like doing like real police shit. I seen the nigga get like 20 guns, and when he got 20 guns, he's selling them to the homies. But I'm like, why are you writing down the serial numbers?
On page 52 to page 53, they talked about an incident outside of No Jumper earlier this year with Luce Cannon and Whack 100 were present. Bullet point number 102 says, for example, on January 3rd of 2025, outside of the No Jumper podcast filming location in Los Angeles, Williams struck a victim in the head multiple times with a firearm and pointed the firearm at the back of his head, while 2 other suspects removed valuables from the victim, including jewelry, cash, and a cell phone, in excess of value of $5,000. The victim lost consciousness during this incident, which was captured on video and posted to social media, apparently to stoke fear and boast Williams' penchant for violence. After the incident, Williams posted a 7-minute video on his YouTube channel discussing the beating, stating that he used to be Big Useless enforcer, that he loves to fight, and that the incident could have went a lot worse. Williams' post also played a portion of the assault, See, Bricc Baby was also caught on wiretaps planning licks with Big U. On page number 55, bullet point 109, it says, on November 11th of 2022, on another interceptor call, Mitchell was Bricc Baby, and Henley coordinated how Mitchell would give Henley the proceeds from a robbery that Mitchell committed. Henley and Mitchell were talking about how much money should go to Henley. And in multiple other interceptor calls and text messages, Henley talked with Blanton and Robinson to help Henley collect from Mitchell's associates. Talking about Mitchell, Blanton said they robbed a nigga for some shit. They made a nigga call his plug and then they booked him. On a subsequent call, I heard Henley counting out the money and saying that it ain't nothing but 2 to 3 racks. Blanton responded, Bricc Baby said it was supposed to be between 5 to 7, man. Gotta make that call out to Brick, man. On April 11, 2023, Henley and Blanton again discussed an individual who was supposed to be robbed in the near future. Bricc Baby got his own separate indictment going on, and he looks really bad for him. He went all the way back to 2010 with him, lumping a reckless evading charge he caught back then, including a litany of weapons charges. Basically, if convicted, he will not see the light of the day for quite some time. While claims made in this indictment, remember these are all allegations, and all of them are innocent until proven guilty. One of the main reasons the public knows some of these people is because of their association with Nipsey Hussle and the gang glorification and No Jumper podcast. Let me know what y'all thought about all of this in the comment section. Did Big U have something to do with Nipsey's passing? Did Luce Cannon and them really hold Meek Mill hostage? I guess we will have to wait and see how things play out in court. So make sure y'all hit that like button for me and drop a comment below so this video can get shared more often. It's on Now TV. I'ma catch y'all on the next one. Peace.